Our officials, Cameron Inouye, Brian Woods, Alicia Murray. Virginia in the white, Arizona State in the black. And here we go for the final first four matchup of the 2026 March Madness tournament. And here is Kimora Johnson, one of the elite guards not only in the ACC but in the country. It's an Arizona State team. You mentioned Molly Miller in her first year as the head coach. A lot of newness. 5 brand new starters in our starting 5, brought to you by Capital One. Gabby Elliott was 7, slips it down to one of 9 transfers. That's El Cajera with the 2.
Yeah, Coach Miller spoke with us and felt that El Cajera could be a big X factor in the game today, using her nice shooting ability in the paint.
Romy Levy can be an X factor in the starting 5 for Virginia.
Yeah, we kind of got 2 different players stepping up for each team here. But one of the things that Arizona State is very wary of against Virginia is Virginia's size and rebounding ability and shot blocking ability.
They led the ACC in shot blocking and in rebound margin this year. Is one of the things that Coach Mox really identified in the portal. Getting size to build around Kimora Johnson with the basketball here. There's last year Poa, one of a pair of LSU transfers on the floor tonight. The other in a Virginia uniform, Samaya Smith. 5 in white. The 2 won a national championship a couple of years ago at LSU. Paris Clark, step back from the elbow.
And Paris is a returner, a senior. She brings an urgency. She wants things to go well in this season for Virginia. She helps out on both ends of the court.
Has scored in double figures in 3 of the last 4 games. Good sit pass into Brackens from Washenitz.
Nice ball movement against the zone there defensively from Virginia. They've been adding in that zone defense later in their regular season. And it's something they're going to switch up against Arizona State.
Offensive foul will go against Demonte, trying to set the screen for Virginia. Led by 4th-year head coach Amaka Agugwa Hamilton, also affectionately known as Coach Mox. First time taking Virginia to the dance in her tenure, but no stranger to this tournament. Block underneath by Samaya Smith.
This team is #1 in the nation for blocks per game. That is what they love to do.
Oh, Johnson with a step-back 3.
Speaking of love to do, Kimora Johnson, she will put that ball up from 3. She can score at all ranges, and she's not bashful.
Second rise in the ACC behind only one Hannah Hidalgo in scoring. Washenitz responds from the corner.
I love the way Washenitz has come out aggressive and making good heads-up plays for the team for Arizona State. First in assists, now coming out being a threat with her shot.
They are 9-2 this year when Washenitz scores in double figures. She can be an X factor for the Sun Devils. And Johnson was fouled on the hedge by Cajera.
You're so right, Matt. We had the chance to talk with Molly Miller, who told us before the game that Washenitz, if she's hitting her shots, that's a big game changer for us. And before the game, she's getting pumped up with the push-ups. She means business.
So does Samaya Smith, who is one of the most experienced players in terms of NCAA tournament play on the floor tonight. 3 Elite Eights with LSU. Extra pass from Poa. Brackens into the middle. Boy, they beat the zone well. Point-blank range couldn't drop. Bump from Poa and a blocking foul drawn by Johnson.
Kimora Johnson coming down full speed ahead. And Poa's trying to stop her early, but just completely bumps her with her body, doesn't beat her to a spot, isn't able to meet her speed without fouling.
So good is Johnson at playing in space. That's where Coach Mox feels like this team, when they've been at their best, it's been in space.
Yeah, and also she feels like Kimora Johnson is going to impact pace for her team. You saw how fast she was coming down the court? She puts pressure on the defense to have to defend her without fouling.
5 seconds for Johnson, defended by Poa. Deep three.
It's a tough shot. Poa's right there. But that's a confident shot.
That's a heck of a matchup if we get it throughout the rest of the night. Poa, an elite defender, not only in her time at LSU, but here at Arizona State. Tapped around, comes away with a rebound. Fresh 20, Washington steps into a three.
She came out ready to go. This changes the game for Arizona State. She is very much a motor for this team.
Romy Levy, the USF transfer who played in the NCAA tournament last year against Tennessee. 2 buckets for her. For a Virginia team that comes into the tournament having lost 3 in a row, haven't played since March 5th. They were 1 and done in the ACC tournament. A little bit more momentum for Arizona State. Took down Iowa State. That was a huge upset in the Big 12 tournament and punched their ticket off the bubble into the big dance.
The Sun Devils are coming in with a lot of momentum. They had a strong finish to the season, a strong tournament, 2 wins in the tournament to get them here. They're feeling good.
And Poa will slow the pace. It has been rapid to start. 6 minutes gone, tied at 12. Washington has a pair of threes, goes baseline. Bracken's long, and here comes Smith. Up ahead to Johnson. Deep 2, Weimer buries it.
It's a good find by Johnson, who penetrates, gets the defense to collapse, and then kicks it out. They trust her to get the ball and make good decisions to help find her teammates.
Led the ACC this year in assists. Washington, it's heat check 3. Johnson off the bounce, step through, cannot kiss it. And a good offensive rebounding effort by Weimer for one of the top offensive rebounding teams in the country. But the 3 ball is falling for Arizona State.
And it's Marley Washington. It's ready to throw it up there. Coming, being a threat, feet set, hands set, getting the bucket to go down for her team, and she's fired up.
Rather 7 Sweet 16s. Virginia has been to 3 Final Fours. Of course, Dawn Staley a big part of that. And now these 2 rising stars in the head coaching space, bringing these programs back for the first time in over 5 years for each.
Yeah, and these players, we'll talk about the human side of coaching for both Molly Miller and Coach Mox, and just how that they believe in them and build them in a holistic approach. And that was huge because they've got a bunch of transfers here. Both teams are largely made up of transfer portal players. And that can go either way. You don't really know what's going to happen when you bring in a whole group of players and personalities. I mean, you try to recruit a certain type of human being to your program according to your culture, but you don't know. And everyone on both of these sides has bought in. They've got 2 really healthy cultures on each side. It's been a great experience in the season journeys when you talk to the players of Virginia or Arizona State.
Total of 16 transfers between these 2 teams. Arizona State with a ridiculous run to the NCAA tournament. Really, when you think about all of the newness, players and coaches alike, they brought back just 1 primary returner. And yet here they are in the NCAA tournament.
I think that's what's really interesting for Arizona State. Not only are most of the players new, but the coaching staff is as well. And I spoke with Gabby Elliott, who was able to talk about just, this is a team that's also very veteran, and they understood what the mission was. So they came in and they're getting it done. When I speak to some of these players, it's like talking to grown women who understand what's at stake and what they want, and for some of them in their last shot.
Johnson off the mark. Here's Brackens, one of those transfers. Amaya Williams. Pitch back to Brackens. And airmail the pass to Washington. Both of these teams, though in different ways, have hung their hats on the defensive side of the ball. For Arizona State, it has been in your face for 40 minutes. Intense flying around. For Virginia, it has been the shot blocking and the deflections and the rebounding that has worn their opponents down.
Well, in this matchup, Arizona State understands how undersized they are. And I've actually even talking with McKenna Brackens, who said in some ways they're the better athlete. So what they're really focused on to overcome the size advantage and the rebounding expertise that Virginia has, they want to be really physical here. You know, they want to be physical. They want to show crowds against Kimora Johnson. Defense is what they do.
Great big-to-big pass there from Smith to Weimer.
And that's the size. You're seeing their forwards getting it done, finding one another. Virginia has a lot of advantage inside.
9th in the NCAA in average height are the Virginia Cavaliers. They picked up 5 bigs in the portal.
That's the play. It's a turnover, but the shot fake, and you get the defender up in the air. That's key against a shot-blocking team.
And White draws a foul on the bounce pass by Johnson.
McKenna Brackens comes through, gets the ball aggressively with the shot fake, and she gets Smith jumping up in the air. This is a team that's hungry for that shot block. You can put them in positions where they get a foul or they're out of position. This is what Molly Miller told us she's preaching to her team today. This is go up against shot blockers with the shot fake and also look to make the pass out after they converge.
3.5-minute scoring drought for Arizona State. White makes it a 5-point lead for Virginia, largest of the game. Meanwhile, ESPN Tournament Challenge women's brackets close very soon. So download the app or scan the QR code to get started. They close tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Final minute of the first quarter. Arizona started the game shooting above 50%. Virginia's defense is tightened up, however. Washington turns it over, and then a foul sends Clark to the floor.
Matt, here's what I'm concerned about for Arizona State. As we see the defense here starting to pressure up on ASU. But I'm concerned about Arizona State because they already know that they can go through spurts of droughts of offense. That's something they actually kind of understand happens to them sometimes. But what they want to do throughout the game is lean on their defense. And I'm concerned because right now Virginia's shooting 54% from the field. You know, so the defense has to be locked in if you're struggling on the offensive end, if you're going minutes without scoring.
As they have recently, 4 minutes without a point for Arizona State. It's led to a 6-0 Virginia run. Molly Miller talking with her veteran last year Poa from LSU, won a national championship. And Virginia already with 3 steals and 2 blocks in the first quarter. Now some pressure from the Cavs. Got to get it over the timeline. Williams just does to Washington. It's about a 6.5-second differential between game and shot clock. Here's Gabby Elliott, quiet in the first quarter, the leading scorer for the Sun Devils. Washington's on eye of the clock with 5. Brackens steps into a 2. And the drought continues. Fighting for the offensive board as Elliott puts it up and down to beat the buzzer and stop a 4.5-minute scoring drought for ASU.
Huge shot for Gabby Elliott to give her team some momentum, creating something out of nothing.
Man is to grind now, shine now, Their defense did just that in the first quarter.
Yes, the time is right now to be shining. And so far from Virginia, they have shown Arizona State a player defense. They've shown them a zone defense. They've even shown them full court pressure. It's hard for the Sun Devils to get comfortable because they're showing them so many different styles and strategies of D. All three have been aggressive. They forced 4 turnovers, and they're just trying to make things happen, defense creating offense.
If you're Arizona State, you know that you lack in the size department against Virginia. How do you combat that, Roz, over the next 10 minutes of this first half?
Well, against their defense, the first thing is you've got to make good decisions. You want to penetrate kick. You want to make sure that you're going north and south and not allowing their defense to force you going side to side where turnovers tend to happen. Be super crisp. Shorten the length of the passes and the angle. Get good angles.
Davenport, first minutes off the bench for Arizona State with a defensive board.
And for the Sun Devils, the honest truth is their best offense is always going to be their defense. They've got to get some momentum created from their defensive side of the ball.
There is Kamora Johnson, one of the top scorers in the country this year. Had a couple of points in the first quarter, but it was Romy Levy that really set the tone. That's her second 3.
Romy Levy is out here hooping. She's 3 for 3, perfect from the field. Coming in and taking what the defense is giving her, not forcing anything, but making the right plays.
Over 80 starts in her collegiate career, spanning her time at South Florida and Auburn. Amaya Williams, the freshman, gives it up to Davenport. 5 to shoot. Now it's Williams into Elliott. Did not see the shot clock, and it's a turnover. Boy, it just feels like Molly Miller's team is out of sorts offensively, including Gabby Elliott, who's been their leading scorer all season.
One good sign, I actually love the body language I just saw from Marley Washenitz. Okay, that last half-court set didn't go well for them. Well, she's yelling to her teammates, clapping, the body language, the leadership. And right now, look at how she's trying to change things up with her pressure on the ball. There's an intentionality to it.
Johnson created plenty of space, way off the mark with that 3. And now Williams pushing the pace for the Sun Devils.
Oh, a lot of contact there.
Foul will go against Paris Clark, her first.
And Washenitz coming back to the ball. Paris trying to be aggressive, but absolutely just rams right into her there.
She is their best perimeter defender, according to Coach Mox. Somebody that has overcome multiple foot surgeries. A 3-year starter at Virginia. Speaking of overcoming injury, here's Elliott at the top of the key. Gives it up to Davenport. Finding a good shot in the middle of that zone.
Nice, simple play. And actually, I think ASU has done a nice job with the pass when they've been able to break down the zone and get a good shot, whether it goes in or not.
They have assisted on 6 of their 7 made field goals, and there's a whistle underneath on the offensive rebound by Weimer.
There's nothing soft about this Arizona State team. And so they're going to just keep fighting back, one possession at a time. Right here, it's a nice cut to the middle of the paint, and Davenport knocks that down in the heart of the zone. What's key for Arizona State is you just don't want the gap to get too big, because this isn't a team that's going to put it up in bunches or score at some high rate, right? So, you know, staying within the game and trying to dictate more of their style is really important for them.
And now they're without 2 of their better offensive weapons. Cajera has been on the bench the entire second quarter with 2 fouls. Washenitz joins her, and now it's an 8-point deficit for the Sun Devils.
There's Coach Mox. Even though she just turned up for the game today for Arizona State, she was away because she was sick, she was still FaceTiming players, Zooming with her coaching staff, sending in text message, film clips, encouragement. She was trying to be as present as possible while she was in her bed sick.
Molly Miller told us she was not missing this game, no matter what. Not missing it. Amanze sent back in a tie-up, won by Jaya Levette, the lone returner for Molly Miller this year.
Yeah, actually, Molly Miller lands today immediately from the airport. She lands around 12, is at the arena by 12:30, comes straight to shoot-around. And one thing that I just loved from her, she's addressing the team at shoot-around, and she says to them, hey, we're not here to participate. We're here to dominate. And I was like, ooh, coach, that's a bar. And she just really knows how to talk to these players. She really resonates. She relates. You know, I mean, people will talk about the TikTok dances, but I've talked to her players who said there's such a human connection. And actually, Gabby Elliott told me, like, if she wants a defensive concept, Molly Miller can jump into practice and do the drill, show them what they need to do.
I think we might see a review of some kind here. That's at least what Molly Miller was asking Brian Woods about. She said it looked like, me just reading lips, as if she was saying that one of the Virginia players hit one of her players on the head. I'll tell you what, that was a spirited debate by Molly Miller. You would have no idea that she's been bedridden for the last 3 days.
Absolutely. You know, it's a lot to overcome, and I think it speaks to the mentality of this program, which is toughness, which is fighting back, which is defense. And actually, I was speaking with Stephanie Norman, who's her assistant coach, a great wealth of knowledge and success backing her up there. A great resource for Molly Miller is Stephanie Norman. And she was talking about how Molly likes to keep things positive and says perfect for us. On the other side, I'll explain what perfect for us means.
And we'll try to clean up what exactly they're going to look at. Whatever Molly Miller said, they're going over to the monitor. We'll be right back. So during that last commercial break, our officiating crew went to the monitor to review a potentially unobserved foul that Molly Miller brought to the attention of one of our officials, Brian Woods. Here is what we saw during the review, Roz. And presumably this is what they're looking at. Amanze tied up with Levette, and then a little bit of a tap on the back of the head. Just Amanze saying, calm down.
You can't touch the other player.
So we'll see what comes of it. But Molly Miller told Brian Woods, that's a foul. That needs to be reviewed. And after some of an exchange on that sideline, they did go to the monitor. We have not yet heard an official ruling. Before we get to that, though, you were talking about Molly Miller saying, what is our perfect? Because they have had some ups and downs this year, despite being a 24-win team.
Well, if you think about Molly Miller, who has led a team to a 14-win turnaround from the season before, it must be really disappointing when you get so sick and you can't even be with your team until the day of the game. You know, that's something that is adversity. It's something that's unscripted. And what she's constantly talking to her team about or saying is, well, it's perfect for us. Our reality, the scenario we've got right in front of us, that's perfect for us. It doesn't have to be a shining, clear path. When we face adversity, accept what's ahead and accept the challenge.
Okay, so we just heard from Brian Woods. There was unnecessary, unsportsmanlike ruling against Amanze, and it results in an F1. Flagrant one foul, meaning Arizona State's going to get to shoot free throws.
I absolutely agree with the call.
On Amanze.
I absolutely agree with the call. And no, there's nothing appropriate. I mean, even if the intention was to simmer down the situation, you should not be touching the back of any player's head as a response to play action. And actually, it could be really costly for Virginia because, you know, these free throws could help close that gap slowly but surely as ASU tries to climb back into this game.
Last year, POA will shoot 2, plus Arizona State will get the ball.
1 is being assessed to white 7.
And last year, POA didn't even wait for Cameron Inouye to finish. Did not even wait for Cameron Inouye to finish her announcement. She's like, I'm ready to hit these free throws. Buried the first. and missed the second. But Arizona State will maintain possession. Molly Miller's team shooting just 39% from the floor. Virginia, meanwhile, shooting nearly 50%. Cavs this year were 5th in the ACC in scoring. Talk so much about their defense, but they have plenty of talented scorers on the other end of the floor as well. Inside Davenport, elbow jumper won't go. Still have not seen much from the Sun Devils' leading scorer, Gabby Elliott. And now Johnson with a full head of steam. This is 3-on-1. Pops and drops.
And right there, Virginia and Kamora Johnson burning Arizona State for kind of a quick, tough shot in the corner. Sometimes shot selection can almost act like a turnover because it's an open board, open court rebound that she goes coast to coast and finishes with.
Brackens wanted a whistle, won't get it. Paris Clark running the break.
Another tough shot from ASU and a crowd of Virginia lengthy defenders.
26-17 Hoos. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Five to shoot. Johnson off the bounce. Kick out Smith. And a good rebound by Gabby Elliott. Playing with the brace on her right knee. It was an injury she suffered against Arizona on February 14th. Brackens knocks down a triple. Elliott has been a warrior through all of the injuries, multiple surgeries throughout her career, has really willed this team to a trip to the big dance. And Arizona State has it close yet again. 2-possession game with 4:58 to go in the first frame. Taylor, we might indulge in a Carver cone, but first, let's take a look at our bracket tips brought to you by Allstate. Brackets close soon, so you can scan the QR code coming on your screen next to fill out your Women's Tournament Challenge bracket. But top 4 seeds, South Carolina, Iowa, TCU, and Oklahoma in the Sacramento Regional 4. South Carolina, as the ladies mentioned, will take on Southern this weekend in a 1-versus-16 matchup. Might we see a rematch? Iowa and South Carolina. A couple of years ago, that was pure theater, with Caitlin Clark on the floor for the Hawkeyes, ultimately falling to the South Carolina Gamecocks. I know there's a lot of fans that are going to be in this building a couple of days from now that would love to see that.
I know personally, I'm looking forward and just looking ahead to our games coming up Saturday, seeing the energy in this arena and how they pack it out for Iowa. But I remember that game. I was there. Caitlin Clark falls short. You know, South Carolina continues to be a great program under Dawn Staley. And really at a time where the college game really influenced the boom of all of the attention around women's basketball. And it's a very exciting time.
When Iowa comes to play in this building on Saturday, it is sold out. They have sold out this building in 51 consecutive home games for Iowa women's hoops.
It's going to be electric. It's quite an atmosphere, and more we're seeing that as the norm. Caitlin Clark just banner in the rafters here, deservedly so. Really changed the way people were talking about and paying attention to women's basketball. And there's been a number of young players who are driving the motion, the investment, the eyeballs, the butts and seats around the women's game. And obviously we're scene set right now on the tournament with the new CBA for the WNBA, and just how exciting it is for all these players and the future generations who are the players on this very court and playing in this very tournament.
Bracken's got a second free throw because of a lane violation by Samaya Smith. And now it's a 4-point game.
What did I say?
All of a sudden.
I said Arizona State, they're not going to back down. They're going to try to keep creeping in here.
Some pressure here from Poa. Took the bump from Johnson. Extra pass picked off by Brackens. Here comes Levette. Weaving through the defense. Poa extra pass.
But that's what ASU wants. Offense created off of defensive intensity, forced off of a turnover. And Poa has a lot of size. She's working really hard on the ball against Kimora Johnson. She's long, she's determined, she's focused. She's making it tough.
Has always been a spark, even back to her days playing at LSU, coming off the bench, tough-minded, defensive stopper. But this is the first time in her career, Roz, as a starter and a primary piece on both sides of the floor.
Well, she has not only playoff experience, but championship winning experience from her days at LSU. So this is someone who knows what it takes to win. And Coach Molly Miller told us they lean on that from her.
Kimora Johnson comes away with a defensive board. Up ahead, Romy Levy. Extra pass to her. Wild shot secured by Levy. And finally corralled by Elliott. Now the Who's in the midst of a 3-minute scoring drought. Arizona State trying to take advantage. 3 minutes and change remaining in the opening half. Elliott, fadeaway, no, off the side of the rim.
Johnson is under duress. She's got to dribble the ball a lot to set up the play, to set up the half-court set, to set up her shot. Whoever is her guard defender is really locked in on D'ing her up and trying to get in her shorts.
Brackens off the pump fake.
Brackens doesn't get that one to go, but I think she's been a catalyst in this run for Arizona State. Just being aggressive offensively, also helping on the glass.
9 points, 4 boards, to your point, for the UNLV transfer. Down goes Poa. Johnson buries it from the elbow. And that stops a 4-minute scoring drought after the flagrant 1 foul was assessed to Tabitha Amanze. Back to a 2-possession game. Good feed inside Davenport. Turnaround won't go.
I'll tell you what, against the zone, Arizona State has been doing a nice job of beating it, but sometimes they're just missing shots they've created that are open.
That has been the MO this year for this Arizona State team. In some of their tight losses, they've been in a ton of close games.
They've done well in close games.
10-6 this year in games decided by 10 points or less.
7-3 in games decided by 5 points or less.
Elliott rims it out. This team is shooting less than 30% from the floor, but the looks
are good, Matt. The looks are good.
One thing we knew we were going to get today, physicality from both teams.
And this screen by Weimer, it totally levels last year Poa. But you know what? It results in enough space for Kimora Johnson to pull up and knock down a jumper. But she needs some help out there. Right now, Virginia's offense is relying on her to create a lot. Can they create some easier shots besides Kimora having to dribble the ball and create something?
Well, the freshman Gabby White has checked into the game, now running the point. Puts it off the window. And Elliott with the rebound.
They love this freshman, Gabby White, though. Ooh.
Ooh, another big screen. Sent Gabby White to the floor, and it is a foul on Martina Fontini, the freshman from Florence, Italy.
Oh, huge screen. Sheesh. And Gabby White bounces right back up, though. She's ready to bring the ball up the court. One thing that Coach Mox has talked about Gabby White, she said she's not a project freshman. Immediately ready to make impact. She's got good size, a good mind, coach's kid, a body that's bigger and stronger than most freshmen, and they lean on her to make impact off the bench.
Mom Joanne, associate head coach at North Carolina. Tar Heels are a 4 seed. They're in action later on this weekend.
Absolutely. And Coach Mock said she has a relationship with her mother, and so she felt really good about recruiting her.
40 seconds to go in the opening half. Haven't been many buckets over the last few minutes for either team. Hurd changes that in a hurry for Virginia.
Muscle shots. That was one of those get in the weight room. She took the contact and finished.
About a 1 second or less differential between game and shot clock here. Arizona can effectively hold for the last shot of the first half. Fontini draws a foul. No, it's going to go against Arizona State. First there was a travel, and now Virginia with 7.2 remaining. Here's Gabby White. 5 seconds. Pass midcourt, dribbled it off for Calf. 2 seconds, and had a shot blocked by Williams. Second lowest scoring half this year for Arizona State. Credit the Virginia defense, who's on top 30-22 at the break. Let's send it to studio for the halftime report. Taylor Tannenbaum, Muffet McGraw, Megan McEwen, take it away.
All of the different types of defenses they saw from Virginia, which was a man defense, a zone defense. The zone defense was disruptive, though. 5 turnovers they had against that. And there's length from Virginia. It's tough for them. But overall, what I'm seeing is that it's a whole lot of half-court set offense. Arizona State is really good at creating turnovers. They only have 1 point off of turnovers. They have 0 fast break points. They've only forced 6 turnovers. Arizona State is one of the best in the Big 12 at forcing turnovers. A top team in the nation for doing that. You want to create some easy shots out in the fast break and open court and let your defense be the one providing that offensive energy. And so the fact that they're just stuck in the half-court set, that's never been their recipe for success.
And Brackens and Elliott, their top 2 scorers, have struggled as a result. Won a combined 4 of 17 from the floor in the first half. Meanwhile, Paris Clark just off the mark. And here is Gabby Elliott. Washington, pump fake, left hand, banks it in. Missed a lot of the back end of the second quarter with 2 fouls. She and El Cajera are back in, playing with 2 fouls to start the second half. Virginia led for all but 2 minutes and 20 seconds in the first half, and Amanze banks it down.
Tabitha Amanze is an advantage in the paint for Virginia, and she too missed a lot of time in that first half because of foul trouble. Total intention right there from UVA to get her a touch.
Picked off by Romy Levy. Had a big first half. This Arizona State team, last team called on Selection Sunday. Had to win a couple of games in the Big 12 tournament. Did so against Iowa State. That was a quad 1 win for Molly Miller's group. And they battled against eventual Big 12 tournament champion West Virginia. That was a 2-point game with 8 minutes to go. But the recipe for success in those games was scoring in transition. They just have not been able to do it against the set defense of Virginia. But there's Cajera putting it down for 2. Amanze got it out of the double team. Here's Johnson. Open three. Levy long, and Elliott the rebound. First time in the big dance for either team in at least 5 years. Though there are plenty of players on the floor for both teams that had tournament experience at their previous stops. Poa, one of those with the ball right now. Won a national championship at LSU. 5 seconds, lost it. Here comes Johnson 2-on-1. Lob to Levy, and she's fouled by Washington, so that's number 3 on the Pitt transfer.
Might have been an overpass for Kimora Johnson, who's always got her head on a swivel. Kimora Johnson comes down off of the turnover, open court. This is where she's going to flourish. She's super unselfish, but maybe also could have pulled up for the jumper or taken an extra dribble, maybe a floater. The defense didn't commit to her all the way.
Washington will stay on the floor despite the 3 fouls. Paris Clark with all day rims it out.
You know, one thing I also noticed for Virginia at a halftime, they had more turnovers than assists. Virginia led the ACC in assists per game. They only had 4 at halftime.
It's been a muddy game.
Muddy.
Washington buries a 3, and that is the ability that keeps her on the floor despite the 3 fouls, and a timeout taken by Virginia.
Look at her fire. Marley the motor gets her team fired up heading into the break. Oh my gosh, guys, like that makes me so emotional because that is the magic. That is the magic of March. And that's what it takes to turn a program around. You're usually the last name called, you know? And this is a legacy to history program that has been to Sweet 16s, that has been to Elite 8s, and it's been a while, and they finally got back. And just the emotion, the joy, the relief, all of the feelings, it was so beautiful to see.
The second to last team called, by the way, Virginia.
Also, similar situation. You talk about a team that's been to 3 straight Final Fours, 90 to 92, Dawn Stanley, Tammy Reese, all of these great legacies on the court, and these programs are just now getting back after droughts from about 2018, 2019.
Yep.
They've almost nearly been away from the tournament for about the same amount of time.
No doubt. Out of the Coach Mox timeout, they go inside to Weimer, and the left-hand hook is good.
I got to tell you, right now in these 2 programs, you're watching 2 of the up-and-coming coaches in women's basketball that have now made a tradition of turning programs around and bringing programs to the NCAA tournament in Coach Mox and in Coach Miller.
Coach Mox took Missouri State twice to the big dance in 3 years. She was 2-time MVC Coach of the Year. And Molly Miller took Grand Canyon to the big dance for the first time in program history. Yes, last year, as Poa wrestled Johnson to the ground. Second foul on the LSU transfer. But this is the first time that Coach Mox and her staff have taken Virginia to the dance, now in year 4 at the helm.
Yeah, and she's like won it at so many spots. I mean, Missouri State, you talked about getting to the 2 tournaments, Sweet 16 in 2021. But for her, in turning around cultures and bringing the best out of players, it starts with a holistic approach. And that's what I hear from her players and why they're choosing her and believing in her. I want to talk about Lab, which is life after basketball, where Coach Mox is basically bringing in outside leaders of different industries, financial planning, cooking classes, skincare, etiquette, sleep training, mental health. All of that she's offering to her players through these life after ball lab programs that she's created for her team.
More on that in a moment. They're going to go to a review. We'll take the break with them. Back in a minute from Carver Hawkeye. Last year, Poa had a common foul called on her. Then, as we went to commercial break, they reviewed
The foul by
the play.
13, Black is being upgraded to a
And Roz, they
flagrant
determined
one.
that this was going to be
Anyone
upgraded
from
to a flagrant
White
one.
can
There was a couple of aspects to this foul that Brian Woods pointed out. Unnecessary, hard, or excessive contact, and it also wasn't a direct play on the ball.
Yeah.
And it results in 2 shots for Virginia plus the ball.
Yeah. The wrap and the coming down of the hands is not a play on the ball, and that's where it's excessive.
So Poa goes to the bench with 3 fouls. She's now the second Sun Devil with 3. Marley Washington's also with 3 fouls. They kept her in the game because she's the lone Sun Devil in double figures with 11 points. And offense has been hard to come by in this game.
And look, a lot of the offensive motion for Virginia starts in the hands of Kimora Johnson, and there's just so much physicality.
Well, of course, coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, True TV. For tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com.
But yeah, there's just so many different types of bodies defending Kimora Johnson, including Poa, who's got size and strength. There's tenacity on her. They're picking her up and trying to get in her shorts and really show her crowds. And even if it results in contact, they're willing to be physical with her. It's disrupted their offensive rhythm.
Samaya Smith short with the left hand. Here comes Gabby Elliott. Was quiet in the first half, the all Big 12 third team honoree. Driving right. Weaving back left, draws a foul, and 2 shots coming for the Sun Devil leading scorer.
Defensively, just there's so much physicality on the court right now for both sides. Both teams hanging their hat on the defensive end. You know, at the top of the game, we talked about the journey of Gabby Elliott and the fact that she's one of these players that's on her 4th school in 6 years. And I asked with her, why ASU? What did you want out of this stop? And she said she just wanted to be a part of a program. It wasn't about stats for her. It was about being able to leave a program better than how she found it. And she feels a lot of pride and victory in what has been accomplished here at ASU, being a part of that turnaround.
One of 10 newcomers to put together their first winning season in 6 years. Brackens back into the game, had it tipped by Amanze. 4th turnover of the 3rd quarter for Arizona State. Step back deep 2, Johnson off the mark. Weimer offensive rebound. A Virginia team that led the ACC in offensive rebounding and rebound margin. How about another one? Levy, fadeaway won't go. And a whistle on Washington, and that is number 4. And she is distraught because that's going to send her to the bench.
Well, ASU might be distraught because she's been one of the bright spots for the Sun Devils, just as far as how hard she's been playing and also her efficiency and shot making on offense. When she makes a shot, it's really high impact. And that's an unfortunate foul she gets called for. They're going to have to generate energy with her on the bench.
Results in Virginia having a 4th opportunity. And the ball's going to stay here with 14 to shoot. It's a long offensive possession for Amaka Agugwa Hamilton's team. Neither team has shot the ball very well. Virginia shot nearly 50% for most of the first half. They're now down to 32. And if you're just joining us, the score very indicative of how this game has gone. There have been long scoring droughts on both ends of the floor. Two teams that have really prided themselves on the defensive end this year. Johnson, quick trigger. Another offensive rebound. It's Hurd. And a tie-up. And finally, Arizona will win it back with the arrow.
ASU wants to finish their defensive set with a box out. And Coach Agugua Hamilton has talked about how important the glass is for her team, that it's a mentality, it's a philosophy for them.
10 offensive rebounds and yet just 2 second chance points for the Hoos. Lefett, dribble crossover, threads it down, and a point-blank shot won't go. And Brackens, Hobley, favoring that right knee, threw it up to draw 2 shots.
Brackens is such an important player for the Sun Devils, and I had the chance to speak with her before the game. She talked about her growth this season in confidence and how sometimes that can fluctuate for her despite her high talent level. This season, she was actually named a third-team all-conference selection, and that was really big for her. You know, she's never been given an accolade like that, and that's really helped her with her confidence and being leaned on more here at Arizona State this season.
Major leap for her. As this back to a 4-point game with 3 minutes and change to go in the third. Weimer has been a big part of the second half in the paint for Virginia, and a chance at a 3-point play.
Great pass, great seal. Ooh, that was some nice 2-player game. Right there inside, Weimer setting up the pass, putting the defense on her hip. And the pass is nice and high, leading Weimer to the rim before the help side defense can get there, burning them for being late. Kamora Johnson, again, with a nice pass. That was this season's assist leader in the ACC.
Weimer now 1 point shy of a double-double. Had a jarred loose. Late whistle comes in on Amanze, and that is number 3 on the Princeton transfer. Back to the foul line.
And to your earlier point, she's not looked as mobile as I've seen her in past games. She looks like she's hampering in that heavy brace around the knee.
No question. And that was an injury she sustained against Arizona in the middle of February. It took her a while to get back to feeling more like herself. But you mentioned the fact that she's in her 4th program in 6 years. The reason she's even still on the floor is because of all the injuries she's overcome. Played just 15 games in 2 seasons at Michigan State. That was after missing all of her sophomore year at Clemson. This young lady has been a warrior in her career, a proven scorer and playmaker. And this year has persisted to be a 3rd-team All-Big 12 recipient. Hurd dumps it down. Amanze walled off. Through contact, won't get it to go. And a tie-up with some chippiness on the back end will keep it here with Virginia.
Now, Amanze is by far one of the biggest players on the court, and she's in deep with that position. But look how scrappy all those little smaller players for Arizona State are. She brought the ball down. Their hands are on the ball. They're physical. They're showing a crowd, mucking up the play.
5-point game, 2 minutes to go in the third. Paris Clark through the double team, no. And another tie-up sends Clark to the floor. This time, Arizona State with the arrow.
A lot of crowds. One way that Molly Miller put it, she said, shorten the court. Shorten the court and help. So, Coach, what is your version of shorten the court? It's basically just crowding, showing bodies, taking up space. There's defensive principles that this team, the Sun Devils, commit to.
Hannah had it stolen by Amanze. ASU turnovers. Levesque trying to win it back. There's the hustle from the returner, who's played in a different role this year than she's been used to. Was primarily a starter in her first 2 years of college. This year coming off the bench.
And that's, again, the defense trying to deny that ball back into the hands of Kimora Johnson, who is one of the toughest guards in the nation, certainly the ACC. And they're really wary of her impact on the game. In fact, you remember when Coach Miller came over to us and said, look, if they're putting the pressure on her, they want to make her uncomfortable and force others to have to step up and score the ball.
They've held her rather inefficient tonight. Just 3 of 12 shooting for the second leading scorer in the ACC this year, behind only Hannah Hidalgo. Stuck on 9 points, has averaged 19. Her draws a blocking foul on Elliott.
Well, it's not like
number 2.
It's not like it was some big mystery either to Virginia, though. Coach Ogugwa Hamilton, Coach Mox spoke with us at shoot-around, and basically, I loved the preparation for this game. She said she went and watched film and tape of how Arizona State defended other top point guards in the nation in some of their other games. And that's how they prepared for this, because they knew defensive pressure was coming the way of Kimora Johnson.
Well, for the 6th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. The other thing Coach Mox told us about Kimora Johnson is that she's seen double teams all year long.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, Roz, how good of a scorer she is. What is underrated about her game is how willing of a passer she is. And she has 4 assists tonight.
Yeah, I think teams are very locked in on her overall impact on the game, whether it's that scoring ability you talk about or the three-point shooting, but she's a tremendous playmaker. Again, leading the ACC in assists. She is a catalyst to all good things that are happening offensively for Virginia. And it puts a lot of pressure on her, too.
One of 3 players in the country averaging at least 19 points and 5.5 assists per game. Back-to-back first-team All-ACC performer. Less than a minute to go in the third. And a 5-point game. It has been tight most of the way. Virginia led by as many as 9 midway through the first. Brackens bounced it off her leg with 1 to shoot. And it's going back to Virginia. Right, despite all the ASU turnovers, they remain down just 2 possessions. Clark behind the back, feeds Johnson, barreling through contact, no. Tapped around back to Johnson, shot clock turned off. And now the shot clock comes back with maybe a couple tenths a second difference. And a whistle on Williams. And that will send Johnson to the line. Both teams in the bonus here at the end of the third. First UVA player in double figures tonight. Has 10. 8 seconds to go. Here's Levette. Across half court with 3. Behind the back dribble. Weaves. Extra pass, and they count the bucket. Cajera beating the buzzer. They will take a look at the monitor, but as of now, a good 2 for Arizona State, making it a 4-point game.
High-impact minutes from Levette and Cajera on the court. Hustle to make that extra pass and finish.
Fourth quarter getting set to start here in Carver Hawkeye Arena. 1 quarter left to determine who will take on 7th seed Georgia on Saturday here in the first round. NCAA Women's First Four presented by Intuit TurboTax. And the Georgia Bulldogs in the house doing some scouting, awaiting their opponent. Iowa will also take on FDU on Saturday night. The Bulldogs had an excellent season in the SEC, a very strong conference, making their first appearance since 2023 in the NCAA tournament. Meanwhile, in this game, neither team shooting above 32%. It has been physical, it has been muddy, and there have been a plethora of turnovers both ways.
Matt, you've got to be watching closely. She has 0 points, but I think she's made difference-making plays, and that's Levette. Like, just the speed, the pace she's playing with, the tenacity on defense. She's just bringing so much intensity for the team.
Second-year transfer from San Jose State. The only returner who played any significant minutes last year on a roster that brought in 75% new players plus a new staff. Amora Johnson, no. Tracked down by Clark. They've had a plethora of offensive rebounds that have not really mounted to anything. Just 3 second chance points for Virginia.
I think it's a good call out. For all the talk we did about the size and the rebounding of Virginia, they really, it's an even points in the paint right now between the two teams. They only have 3 second chance points. And coming into this quarter, it was only a 3 rebound difference in the rebounding margin. Like, they haven't, what I'm trying to say is, I haven't seen them be able to exploit the advantage of size that has been important for them all season.
Washington's had it kicked by Levy. She really has been the lone consistent offensive weapon for Arizona State. She's back into the game with 4 fouls. Has hit some big threes. 11 points on 4 of 6. And Cajera has been terrific in the paint, now with 8 points. Long pass to Levy. Step back 3. And Brackens in a scrum coming away with it. Here's Lovett. Step through, bounced off the backboard, tapped out of bounds by ASU. Some frustration on the faces of the Sun Devils. We talked about it coming out of halftime. They've had good looks. At times tonight, point-blank looks at the rim that just have not dropped, and yet they trail by 4. Weimer. Levy. Excellent double move, and the reverse is good.
Excellent pass and read. Quick, decisive play from Caitlin Weimer, who kicks that over to Levy.
And Double figures with 10 points. Johnson wants to push the pace. Just 6 points on 1 of 9, playing in her first NCAA tournament game as a 6th-year senior, and a timeout taken by her head coach, Molly Miller. We will take the break with them. Despite the struggles offensively, Arizona State is right there. The NCAA Women's Championship. Back in Iowa City, Arizona State, Virginia, the 2-10 seeds, playing for a chance to move on to the first round to take on Georgia. First trip to the big dance for either since at least 2019. The winner out of our sub-regional, which features 2-seed Iowa, will take on the winner out of Fort Worth, featuring TCU. Bulldogs still hanging out. Scouting their opponent for Saturday afternoon. Matt Schumacher, the former Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, Rosgold on Wude with you. Washington tries a 3. What do you feel like this game is going to come down to over the final 6.5 minutes, given the way it's been played, Roz, to this point?
I think turnovers have been a part of the story for both teams. For Arizona State, it's really shot them in the foot. And actually, I think the lack of turnovers for Virginia is what's really helping them keep this lead. Against a team in ASU that wants to turn you over, they only have 8. And they've only given up 1 point off of those turnovers. That's huge against ASU. Virginia, even though they haven't been shooting it well at all, they also haven't been coughing it up.
Oh, rebound Smith. To your point, ASU 3rd in the Big 12 this year, averaging over 19 turnovers forced per game. Tonight, just 8 against the Cavaliers team that led the ACC in assist-to-turnover ratio. Picked off by Washington. There's a turnover for the Sun Devils. And the Pittsburgh transfer pays it off.
Big opportunity for the Sun Devils to get out in the open court. A fast break opportunity where the defense isn't set. That's why the care of the ball that Virginia's been taking all game has been so impactful for them.
Weimer going to work on the low block. Left hand short. Thought she was contacted by Brackens. Washington's off the bounce. Beat Clark, who is set back. On the recovery by Clark.
Washington tries to set up the drive baseline, but don't forget, UVA is #1 in the nation for block shots. And even the guards are getting in on the party.
6 blocks tonight for a team that doesn't have any individual in the top 70 in the country in blocks. They do it as a team.
Yeah, as a team. I mean, don't forget, Tabitha Amanze has been out a lot in the first half with foul trouble. We really haven't seen a lot of Samaya Smith in this game. Like I said, it's been hard for some of their bigs to stay on the court in this matchup.
To the other way for Johnson. And now Clark with the pick. Weaves past Elliott and rolls down the left-hand scoop. Largest lead of the second half for UVA. Four minutes to go. Washington's dead away 3. 16 to lead all scores. Here's Clark through the bump. Amanze deep 2 off the front end. Clark fighting for it, and Poa back into the game with 2 fouls. Up to Washington. Gabby Elliott resets on the call from Molly Miller. 3 ball. Brings down. First one of the night for Elliott. And a timeout taken by Virginia.
A quiet night all game. Gabby has not had a huge shooting night. But in a time where her team feels the momentum shifting, she comes through big. Huge shot from 3. Not to mention 8 rebounds, 4 assists in the game, making impact and heads-up plays. That was the shot her team needed, and she can't help but bust out a little smile. It feels good.
There's probably a sense of finally behind that smile for a young woman that has led the team in scoring, has 9 20-point games this year, over 100 collegiate starts. She's a big reason, Roz, why this team made it to the dance in year 1 under Molly Miller.
Often when they need a play, she's someone that steps up to make it, that they go to her, they lean on her. She is a 3-level scorer that can produce and is not afraid of the challenge. A veteran player who's a great leader for this team. You see the fire from Marley. Well, there's a different type of leadership as well from Gabby. And don't forget Poa, who brings a lot of different, these are captains, these are the leaders of this team right now that feel the momentum shifting in their favor right now. I feel like Virginia has the lead. This is an important chance to respond, to snuff out the momentum.
And it's Kimora Johnson with the basketball. 12 points, 9 boards for one of the top guards in the ACC. They find her underneath. Johnson won't go. A chance to tie or take the lead for Arizona State, and it's turned over. Almost picked by Elliott.
Incredible catch, like a wide receiver or tight end.
Pulls it back
Is that
out.
good football analogy?
I love it.
Thank you.
She'd probably appreciate that too. Manze appreciates the open look. Knocks it down. Deep 3. Washington's long. Weimer. Now that last touch by Arizona State. Poa arguing her case with Cameron Inouye. And it will remain Virginia ball.
Everyone's going for the ball, but it's looked almost like it was last off the hands of Virginia, but
3 timeouts left for Arizona State, 2 for Virginia. ASU with the arrow. Neither team with a foul this quarter. Until now. Major contact. And it will go against ASU. Jaya Levette. Listen to this collision. There's been a lot of those tonight, Roz.
yeah, hard screens. But also the pressure on the ball against Kimora Johnson. It's been multiple different defenders bringing physicality and pressure on her. Different bodies. They're okay with picking up the fouls. Like, they're just really trying to disrupt her, to rattle her. And actually, I think Kimora, has done her best here to try and keep her composure.
Molly Miller's done a fantastic job keeping her composure despite dealing with the stomach bug that had her bedridden for 3 days prior to flying in earlier this morning, joining her team mid-trip, trying to extend the trip and take on Georgia Saturday afternoon. 5 to shoot for Clark. Step through, floater, short. Amanze, the offensive rebound. 14, now 15 offensive boards for the Hoos. Johnson kick out, Clark open 3.
That is a shot that Clark has to knock down because Kimora Johnson drew 3 defenders of a crowd around her and made a great pass out to the open player.
UVA 0 for 9 from 3 in the second half. Clark almost picked it off. Here's Elliott with 15 to shoot. Off the bounce, Elliott right hand, rims down the friendly bounce.
Whoa, tough bucket over the size and outstretched hands of Virginia in the paint.
Johnson sent back but a whistle. Lavette on her hip was called for the foul.
What a battle from both teams. It has not been pretty. Sometimes these games are grinded out games, grit games. That's exactly what we've seen here. Physical, defensive, but just nothing but fight from both sides.
Rare miss at the foul line for Johnson, who was 4th in the ACC in free throw shooting this year at 85%. Can make it a 3-point game with a make. And a timeout taken by ASU, and that will move the ball up past half court for Molly Miller. 3-point game. Roz, we've seen Gabby Elliott all of a sudden come to life. She scored 5 points in the last 2 minutes. We've also seen Marley Washington hit some big threes. Where are you going offensively here if you're ASU?
I'm starting the ball with Gabby Elliott. I trust her throughout the season to make good decisions, whether that's finding a teammate, spotting up, or to get to the rim. But right now, you have enough time to get a quick 2-point shot, get the best look possible.
Arizona State, as we talked about throughout the night, has played in so many close games. 7-3 this year in games decided by 5 points or less. They trail by 3 with 55 ticks left in the game and a trip to the first round to take on Georgia on Saturday on the line for both teams. Elliott gets it into Poa. Off the screen, pops a 3. Rims out a potential game-tying triple. Last touch by Virginia. It'll stay here with 20 to shoot. That was a good look for Elliott.
Good look, and the play was run exactly as executed right there. Screen, get her an open shot, a good look at it. There's still a lot of time on the shot clock to execute right now.
Of it trying to get it in. Does. The Brackens climbing the ladder to pull it down. Washington's a 3. Tie game in Iowa City. 51 apiece. And Virginia calls a timeout. Marley Washington's with 5 threes in the game.
She has been fantastic. She has been terrific. She comes off with confidence, wanting the ball. That's half the battle. Wants the ball, wants the shot, wants the moment. She's seeking gaps and coming through, ready to be a threat, feet set. She's done this before. She's got confidence because she's been here before. You might have heard of the Hail Marley. This is when the team was in November. They were 4-0. Right now, end of the game. Tie game, could have gone to overtime. Instead, Marley with the big off the backboard shot that goes in. It changes the season. They become 5-0 right there. And perhaps had they lost, you know, that the trajectory of the season changes. Instead, they continue to be undefeated, and they end up going 15-0 to start the season. And really, that helps a team build belief in what they can be.
That 15-0 start, by the way, tied the longest win streak in program history. This is a team that's improved by 14 wins year over year. That's the most by a Power 4 team this year. It's because of the new player buy-in from players like Marley Washington, Gabby Elliott. And she's just tied the game against UVA. And now if you're Virginia, this team has run through Kimora Johnson this year. They will get the ball past half court. with 30 seconds to shoot, 41.4 on the timer. You got to think this set is going through their best players.
Yeah, I don't think anything changes from any of the other minutes of this game, but her teammates must be ready to hit a big shot. She's made great passes to them.
Jillian Brown just got it in. Weimer had the ball tipped by Elliott, who's now defending Johnson. Tries a three and knocks it down. Dagger from the top of the key.
Ice cold. Ice cold. Kimora Johnson, take things into your own hands. Kimora said that's enough. Everybody's been bumping her, physical with her. Gets the defense to bite on a pseudo screen and just pulls up in their faces. It's winning time. And Kimora Johnson is ready to answer the call as she catches the defense, giving her too much space. Gabby Elliott backs up to give her that space, which she really hasn't seen all game defensively. And she burns Elliott for stepping back and giving her that space for the three.
First made three of the second half for Virginia. Kimora Johnson with 16 to go along with 9 rebounds.
This is the battle we highlighted.
Now, if you're Arizona State with 1 timeout remaining, are you looking for a three here? They've hit a couple of big ones. Elliott, Washington's with a season-high 5 triples in the game.
The way they're shooting the three, I say take the best shot. I don't think you need to kill yourself to get a three right now. But their shots have been, like, for Washington's, if she's got a good look at it, take that shot. She's red hot, smoking hot right now.
Defended by Paris Clark. Again, Elliott will inbound. Elliott tries a three. That was jacked from the right wing. And now a tie-up from Brackens. Molly Miller screaming for a foul, and still many to give. That's just the 3rd on Arizona State. They need 2 more to put Virginia on the line. And that didn't seem like the three they wanted.
It didn't seem like the one that they wanted. You want to get the best rhythm shot you can right there. And right there, that felt fast and forced.
And Washington's didn't even get a look at the ball.
No, the play didn't even run any time, you know?
So now Johnson will inbound it. And I beg your pardon, that was just the 2nd Arizona State foul. So they need 3 more to put Virginia on the line.
Well, defensively, they've got to try to get a steal and then stop the clock.
Now they're going to change it. 3 fouls on Arizona State and a timeout taken by Virginia. That is the final timeout for Amaka Agugwa-Hamilton. That will advance the basketball.
The concept, again, is going to be trying to deny the ball out of the hands of Kimora Johnson.
Let's take a look at tonight's Capital One rewarding performance. It is Kimora Johnson's big three with 30 seconds to go in the game.
Kimora Johnson sizing up the defense, too worried about the screen. Stay up on Kimora. She is the threat. And she burned the defense for giving her that kind of space all game long. She has not gotten that kind of breathing room. And right there, when it mattered, she came up big.
So now no timeouts left for the Hoos. 1 remaining for Arizona State. Winner advances to take on 7th seed Georgia on Saturday. Jillian Brown inbounded. But that was almost picked by Poa, and it's going to result in a turnover. What defense by the LSU transfer.
Yeah, I also noticed that Poa was put defensively back on Johnson. And at one point, they even had 2 players on the ball trying to deny her it. Very intentional for ASU, basically being like, okay, somebody else is going to have to do this.
What a play by Poa to win it back for Arizona State, who still has 1 timeout remaining in a 3-point game.
Mind you, Poa was literally only subbed in for the defensive possession. Like, came in there and did her job. She's back on the bench now.
Love it with the basketball. 20 seconds to play. Getting downhill. Walled off by Amanze. Kahera puts it down for 2. 1-point game. And the foul from Elliott. Still 1 left to give to send Virginia to the foul line. And that's the 4th on Gabby Elliott. Remember, no timeouts left for Virginia. They cannot advance the basketball here, and they have to get it inbounds.
And they just subbed Poa back in the game to face guard, use her length and strength against Kimora Johnson.
And now Deb Davenport sprinting to check in. Meanwhile, Lovett went hobbling to the bench. She's being tended to at the moment in the tunnel by the training staff. They put 0.5 of a second back on the game clock. Levy, the inbounder, gets it into Weimer and is fouled by Davenport. Weimer, a 74% free throw shooter, will now go to the line in the bonus.
Wow, what a finish here. Possessions and free throws. Execution.
Virginia has not shot it to their standard tonight at the line. Just 8 of 13. For a team that shot it above 71% all year. But even if she makes both, still a 1-possession game for Arizona State with the timeout. Weimer's 4th double-double of the year. She's been excellent. Been a big reason why Virginia maintained their lead most of the second half. Drills both. Timeout, Molly Miller.
In a game where for Virginia, they got quiet production from Amanze, Tabitha Amanze, from Samaya Smith. Caitlin Weimer has been huge, and she's really been productive. She's now got 12 rebounds on the game to go along with 11 points. Really stepping up to take some burden off and help Kimora Johnson out.
All right, last time we saw Arizona State inbounded across half court with a chance to tie with a 3, it was a quick trigger from Gabby Elliott. We did not see Marley Washington's touch the ball. Are you going to Washington's here with the game on the line and 11 seconds to play?
She's been the hot hand from the 3-point line. I think you definitely look for her. But also, you know, if Gabby has the ball in her hands, she's a great playmaker. I trust her.
First NCAA tournament experience for Gabby Elliott. Former 5-star Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year. A winding road of a collegiate career, dealing with injuries and transfers and coaching changes. Winner of this game will get 7-seed Georgia. We will also see Iowa and FDU.
What's really also important here, as the ball advances and they're going to have a chance in the half-court set, Matt, be a great screener. Get somebody open. Play this at pace, screen well, get somebody like Washington. It's a nice look at the rim.
Inside Lovett, driving on Amanze. 8 seconds. Lovett, left hand off the window and good. Hobbled and all. Check back into the game to make that shot. And then Johnson fouled with 4.5 to go. We'll head to the line for 2 shots. And that is the 5th on Gabby Elliott. She will foul out with 11 points, 9 boards, 4 assists. And if this is the last time we see Gabby Elliott on the floor in a college uniform, what a career.
Again, I come back to the conversation I had with her yesterday at practice, and she talked about wanting to leave a program better than she found it, and how the journey of this season was more important than any stat or accolade. And I said, if that's the case, then you've already achieved the victory even being here. She was like, you know, we've made history. We've gotten the team back to the tournament. There's something special here. And she feels great closure to her college career.
Winningest season in 10 years for Arizona State women's hoops. First winning season in 6 years. Gabby Elliott, a big part of it. Now at the line, Kimora Johnson rams out the first. No timeouts for Arizona State. Make or miss, they are pushing up the floor. Down 2. 4 seconds. Love it. Lost it. Right into Amaze, and that is it. Virginia survives and advances to take on 7th seed Georgia on Saturday.
This was a survival, and they got it done. Some of these wins, they don't have to be pretty. That's the thing about March. Survive and advance. You just got to get one. And that is a team that tonight, they didn't even play up to their normal type of style of play. There's more upward trend for them, and they're going to get another shot at it in this tournament.
First tournament win for Virginia since 2018.
A huge achievement. Congratulations to this Virginia team that has fought so hard to bring this program back to the dance.
Kimora Johnson with 17 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists is going to join us momentarily after her Hoos hang on to take down Arizona State 57-55. And what a season for the Sun Devils. It ends in the first 4 here in Iowa City.